Hello, and once again, you're with me. I am Dr. Joyce Sharpen, and in case you haven't met me yet, there I am. That's like the coronavirus hairdo, because I haven't had a haircut, so it's gone kind of crazy. But this is it's actually lab 3, acidosis part 1, but it is a lab you have to start first because it has a 7-day challenge. So I numbered the labs based on when they are due. So you do need to start this lab by Tuesday. And I called it Your pH is What You Eat. And so I realized I had asked that we might be able to go in and do labs, small groups at a time. I had a great plan and I was told no. And I realized, well, your kitchen is a lab. So you will have one that is a kitchen chemistry lab. And also, you guys are walking chemistry labs. Your bodies are chemical laboratories. And so that is what the 7-day challenge is about. Your pH is what you eat. So let's go into it. And that's actually me when I get a haircut or whatever. This is actually this picture I found on my break. It's from 5 years ago. And I have it here because of, I thought of it when Isaac, you did a presentation. This is from the first nuclear power plant in the country. It's in Idaho. It's actually not that long of a drive from here. And it's probably open because it's in Idaho. So if you ever get a chance, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's smack in the middle of the state. And it's so cool. And they do close at 5 o'clock. And so you can't go in if it's 4:55. Anyway, that's what the previous picture was from. It's an awesome place. So let's talk about pH. So we will be talking about acids and bases. And in case you don't know, an acid has a pH below 7 and a base has a pH above 7. So I'll be talking about the pH scale and you will all become very intimate with it because we have actually 2 homework sets that are all about pH, and then pH influences all the rest of the homework sets. We don't get to pH until this term because it requires you to have an understanding of equilibrium chemistry to fully embrace it. So the basics below 7, or basic is above 7 pH, and below 7 pH, the lower the pH, the more acidic. When you test most of the things in your kitchen, your fruits and vegetables, they come out acidic and cleaning stuff comes out basic. But the thing that's interesting is you tested your blood. It will come out slightly alkaline. Alkaline is another word for basic. And so the normal range for our blood, as it shows up there, is 7.35 to 7.45. It's a really small range. The pH scale is a logarithmic scale. So every 1 unit of pH is actually a 10-fold change. And so it's a very narrow line where we're normal. And it's actually more narrow than this slide indicates, because it is actually, you want to be on the alkaline end of normal. So around 7.45. 7.35 is what most Americans are, and we're in a chronic systematic acidosis, and that is why we are chronically ill. Where they're saying acidosis and alkalosis is you would be in a coma as you move into those zones, and that is your body turning itself off and saying, okay, let me take over now and get us back into the normal range. When you, in recovery, they have found that it is actually really important to keep people towards 7.45. We'll talk about that as we go through this. All right, here's the definition. You can look up on Merck Manual. The big thing is your kidneys and your lungs regulate your pH. And it is that ion that I have circled there in the kidney, bicarbonate. And so a loss of bicarbonate, actually bicarbonate helps to buffer us, will actually put you into acidosis. And pictures worth more than words. Remember that when you make your slideshows. Acidic blood versus alkaline blood. Pretty sure you all want to be on the alkaline end. And again, acidic means 7.35. Alkaline means we're at the higher end of normal, 7.45. So again, acidic blood does not mean a pH of 2. You're dead. There's no way that could happen. And you can see down there, it's eating crap food, meat, sugar, highly processed food, smoking, prescription drugs, and eating the foods over here in the alkaline range that Mother Nature provided will keep your blood alkaline. And so the choice is always yours. So let's go through this. So I did a quick Google search and found this really awesome article. This is an abstract. You don't want a page with lots of words because you're all going, oh, there's lots of words. But basically, I tried to highlight excess consumption of acidic food, especially proteins and phosphorus, soft drinks, will lead to this chronic state of acidosis, leading to a whole bunch of things, that chronic diseases in our body. And we're going to talk about that in the next slide. And the cause is there in bright red. It is from our diet, the typical American diet that everybody wants to eat. And what we want to be eating are the fruits and the vegetables. All right. Oh, there we go. I got my laser. And so it is this balance. This term's all about equilibrium and balance between fruits and vegetables. All right. So this is what chronic acidosis. Again, you're in the normal range, but you're at the lower end. Eating the standard American diet of meat and processed food, your bones lose calcium. So your body has to buffer this input of acidifying food and acidifying behavior. And the way it buffers it is with calcium. And so it actually pulls calcium out of the bones. Milk is actually not a great source of calcium. It is broccoli, that is. But anyway, you end up with bone fractures and osteoporosis. And all that calcium has to go somewhere, and it goes in your joints, and you become stiff like the Tin Man. Then you have to get rid of all that calcium, and so it overworks your kidneys, and you get diseased kidneys. Don't worry, I have a picture of that on a later slide. IR is insulin resistance. It is actually, there's a huge link between acidosis and diabetes. And acidosis is related to our diet. And then cortisol is the stress hormone. We talk about that more in the next slide. But when I thought about stress and the Wizard of Oz, I thought about the Cowardly Lion. And so Joey and I had the opportunity to visit the Wizard of Oz Museum in Kansas. So I had these pictures on there because Aaron, I'm hoping one of these days that you got a chance to go there because it's really close to the border of your home state. All right. So it turns out when you look at how foods affect our body, it's not the pH they're going to be in your kitchen in the test tube. It is the pH. They are how your body processes them. And so when they're really high in minerals, which is fruits and vegetables, plant-based food is really high in minerals, especially bicarbonate. They have an alkalinizing effect on your body. And when they're devoid of all those minerals, because they've been highly processed, they will have an acidifying effect on your body. All right, and you can't take it in a drink. You just eat whole foods. This equation at the top is one we're going to become very familiar with over the next 2 weeks. And there is bicarbonate. I circled it because I sometimes have trouble with the little laser. And this is equilibrium. And I don't know if you've watched my lecture on equilibrium, but the double arrows mean this goes both ways. And so our body, when it becomes doesn't have enough bicarbonate, the bicarbonate goes down and we get shifts happening, or if it has too much acidity, we shift, and then the bicarbonate, we pee it out and the hydrogen's there and we get more acidity. But basically the big picture is you got to eat your fruits and vegetables, eat the rainbow every day. Jessica did this last term and it's much easier now this term because it's the summer and there's so many fruits and vegetables. And I want to add him to the rainbow. Mr. Potato Head. Potatoes are the best source of bicarbonate. They've been poorly maligned by many agencies. Potatoes are freaking amazing. Now we have maligned poor Mr. Potato Head and made him highly processed, but a real potato, and I say this because I'm a Sherpa, I'm not a real Sherpa. Sherpas are the little people who climb high in the Himalayas. This is a picture from 10 years ago. Just last month, Pimba, Joey's dad, so Joey's there on the left, and we are hiking in the potato fields, Alibaba or something like that. So Pimba decided he wanted us to go and meet the yak herders and stuff, and he wanted to find these quartz crystals that are up there. He remembered from 25 years ago. So he took us. The terrain is this insane. It's so steep, and we had no tent. We had no food with us. We had 1 day worth of food, one meal. And Pim was like, oh, go let us stay with them. And so we did for 4 days. It was one of the most 4 wonderful days of my life, was sleeping in these little hovels. I should have showed a picture of that. But this is us hiking up to the potato fields. and it was just beautiful. The scenery, it was the monsoon season. This is just before the monsoon. This is the clouds. Anyway, that was me going down nostalgia lane. All right, so eating the rainbow for most Americans is this and this and this, and it's so beautiful, isn't it? And these are all artificially colored because the rainbow on the other page, the colors were real colors. And is it any wonder that Americans are sick in systematic chronic means ongoing, systematic means throughout their whole body, because their blood is on the lower end of normal. It means you're not in a coma. Oh, let's just talk about sugar on the brain. Some of you have seen this before. It's really important. Twice a week, eating a commercial baked good. Sorry, Carlos, place you worked for. I'm hoping you work there again. Anyway, commercial baked goods. Bagels are commercial baked good, unfortunately. And most people are eating 2 commercial baked goods a day, but 2 per week doubles your depression. Not a happy sight. Why? Because it creates free radicals. You lose electrons. And so, right, antioxidants are found in your fruits and vegetables. You can't take it in a pill. Oxidative stress. We're going to talk about oxidation reduction this term. Oxidative stress is what it's all about. Also, all that sugar overstimulates dopamine. What else overstimulates dopamine? Cocaine. All the addictive drugs pretty much target dopamine. And if you've never seen the brain scans, people who have are obese usually have similar brain scans as a cocaine addict. And this one is the one that shocked me. It does actually shrink your brain. Sugar shrinks your brain. And most Americans get plenty of calories, but they don't get enough real food, which is the nutrient-dense food. High in phyto means plants. You can't get in a pill. Pills do not have the same effect, supplements, because they've isolated it. And it's because it's about the vibrations. It's all about good vibrations that's there in the whole food. Eat real food. That's where we're going with this lab. All right. So which of these diets eats their veggies? Oh, the Mediterranean diet. So the blue zones are people who live past 100 and healthy past 100. And they eat fruits and vegetables, mainly plant-based diet. And so you can see, and the standard American diet is 7% plants, veggies. Yeah, it's really pathetic. We'll get to that slide next. So the temporal lobe, you can see it's completely gone over in the Western diet, and that's where hearing and speech forms. The ventricle system is communications. You don't want this huge empty hole there. It's where our cerebrospinal fluid, which nourishes our communication system. And then the hippocampus, learning and memory. You guys, your brain is plastic, but it's also vulnerable. It can be damaged, it can be healed. That is a big thing that they've realized in the past decade. And that is my goal for this term, is I want all of you to have the most beautiful brains ever, which is not the one on sugar there. All right, but we can all get better. And the good news, oh, look at that. America's not the worst. No, it turns out like Australia, Brazil, all these people have, oh, that was 11 years ago. Yeah, it's 2020. The new numbers always come out every 10 years. And you know what? The US might win out because we have a Starbucks addiction. Hidden sugars in kids' food. Biggest one is totally useless. This is not food. I can't believe people, the average American, 533 12-ounce sodas. People don't drink a 12-ounce soda. People drink bigger ones. And then half of us, including me, or maybe it's 5% of us, don't drink any soda, don't drink any of these AMP things, don't drink the Starbucks. And so there's a lot of people drinking 24 ounces a day of pure sugar. And that's not good for you. It depletes your immune system. Oh, I didn't do that slide. Anyway, there was a study that was done, and they gave medical students will volunteer for anything because they have no money, and they gave them a spoonful of sugar, and help the medicine go down, right? And it depleted their white blood cell count, their immune system, for 6 hours, 50%. Sugar. This is white sugar. It's not the same as eating the whole food. If there's sugar in there and the whole food's there, your body absorbs it different. All right. So Save the Children International was a big push for tax on soda until, Pepsi Cola gave them $5 million and Coca-Cola said, oh, we'll match that. How do you deal with that? Grants that big. Oh, and then a year ago, spring break, American Academy of Pediatrics and American Heart Association, they started pushing for a tax on soda because the World Bank did an analysis and showed we were going to bankrupt the world by childhood diabetes linked to our diet. We have a bigger reason the World Bank is being bankrupt right now, but it is still linked to sugar because sugar is linked to your immune system. So let's talk about refining. Some people are like, oh no, I don't drink soda. Refined food. So here's our princess eating her refined food, very refined, developed or improved so as to be precise or subtle. Very clever to have used the word refined, elegant and cultured in appearance, manner, or taste. Yeah, so it was in the 50s, 60s, post-World War II that refining took off. But the first refining happened before that. In the 19th century, millions died. Millions. Kind of like where we're at now. And it was due to a vitamin deficiency. Why did these people all suddenly have a vitamin deficiency? So Nobel Prize was won because they figured it out. It had to do with they started polishing rice. White rice showed up at this time and they removed the bran. And the cure? Why not just eat brown rice? Oh no, the cure was to give people the rice bran. You can buy rice bran. I actually have it. I sometimes will add it to my muffins just because I got a great deal on it. And yeah, or just eat the whole food. So refining. So the question is, epidemic of heart disease, metabolic syndrome, mental illness, can we add coronavirus to this? Could it be this simple that if we ate whole food, plant-based, could it be that simple to keep our immune system healthy? I eat like that. I do not eat like that. That is how 58% of Americans' calories come from this ultra-processed food. Well, yeah, I grew up eating that cereal there. That's Fruit Loops, isn't it? I don't eat it anymore. So it doesn't matter what you did. All is forgiven. It matters where you're at now. And so that is what you're going to be doing for this next week. But I'm not done. Oh, this is really cool. I learned this over the break. There's Joey in the bread box going, oh, this is the Wizard of Oz, of course. But the highest source of fiber by the average American is actually from white bread, which has no fiber. Do you know 50% of Americans surveyed, 50% believe steak is a source of fiber. There's no fiber in animal products. So let's move on. Oh, how sad is the standard American diet? Again, 10 years ago, because the new studies will come out, the meta-analysis, it's actually now like 9.5 or 9.8 out of 10 do not, 98% do not meet the minimum requirement of veggies. American versus everywhere else. We eat beige. Everybody else eats color. 75% of Americans, in one day, I eat 3 to 4 pieces of fruit every day. And I want you guys to do that too. And some of you who've been with me the whole year, yeah, it's a game changer. All right. You want to eat like that. Colors, beautiful colors. You don't want to be like that. Beige. You may have noticed when you start seeing the videos, I wear colors. Right? 96% of Americans do not eat at least 3 times per week greens or beans. It's an or. I eat both every single day, and so should you. 98% don't eat orange, and we're not talking about Skittle orange. We're talking about like the kimchi orange or butternut squash or pumpkin orange. 99% don't eat whole grains. It's like a slice of bread, whole grain. All right, so back to our topic, acidosis. So you eat acidic food, highly processed food, you're not eating your vegetables, it robs you of the calcium, and the calcium comes out of your bones, and we end up with all these other things, cancer, grows in acidic environment, meaning 7.35. It doesn't, this is again, we're in the normal range because you guys are out there functioning. Not just you guys, all Americans are out there functioning, but they're eating sugar, refined food, and animal products. So let's talk about the high protein diet. Average American, 97% of Americans get more than enough protein. Most Americans, the average is double what you need, double. This high protein myth, if you go in and really read the literature, it's different than what the media is telling you. Does that sound familiar? Is there anything else going on where the media is telling you only part of the story? All right. Protein acidifies the blood. Protein and processed food. Those are your big, and sugar, processed sugar, not whole sugar found in whole fruit. Acidic and alkaline. Or saw a picture, leaches calcium, get osteoporosis, cancer. Cancer grows in an acidic environment. I have a slide on that next. The degenerative diseases. So this is T. Colin Campbell. He's now in his 90s, and he did one of the biggest studies, and it is amazing. This book, he has another book coming out this fall, and I'm really excited. He is one of my heroes. He is a nutritionist. He grew up on a meat and dairy farm. Amazing. This book is amazing. It's about the science. It's about the study, and what they found looking at China versus American is 17-fold increase in heart disease. Oh, guess where? You think it's in rural China? No, in the United States. This was done like 20, 30 years ago. This is before they had McDonald's there. Unfortunately, their rates have changed. Cancers, all cancers, but they specifically looked at breast cancer and another type in the original studies. Your kidneys get overworked because you have to get rid of all the nitrogen that's in the amino acids. You're constipated because there is no fiber in animal food, period. It is in your plants, and you end up in acidosis, ketoacidosis. It is not called ketosis. They've left that middle part out. It is ketoacidosis. You are in an acidic state. You still function. You're at the low end of normal. And another reason about animal protein, the toxins that the animals are exposed to, you get, and antibiotics. And in case you did not know, I just learned this. Antibiotics were given to animals 100 years ago because they were trying to fatten them up, and it worked. It's the marbling that people crave, their marbled steak. And so they give them antibiotics, not for the health, but to make them fatter, to give them more bulk, not bulk in protein, but fat. Look it up. And protein, high sugar, high refined, suppresses your immune system. So let's look at a picture. Oh, and the other reason, Mother Earth cannot sustain the American diet. So be the change. And that's what you're going to do for a week. So let's keep going. We're getting there. So the alkaline blood this time is over on the left, and there's your immune cell in the acidic blood. And right now, my immune cells, I want them to be powerful. I want every part of me to be whole. There is fungus growing. And again, acidic is the 7.35. It is in the normal range. But it's at the low end of normal. And here we go. That's Mario. Yeah, eating highly processed and eating animal-based. Your blood is at the 7.35 end. Those are cancer cells. Cancer cells love ketones. It is their preference. So experimental models, computer models, double breast cancer growth with ketones and metastasis. In fact, breast cancer often, meaning high percentage of not just breast cancer, but many cancers, when they metastasize, it's the liver. So metastasis is when the cancer spreads out of its original place of origin and it goes to the liver, because that is where ketones are made. Your liver is so beautiful and amazing. In Chinese medicine, the liver is the second heart. I think it's also in Ayurvedic, but the words I think are translated incorrectly. Anyway, ketones were dripped on breast cancer cells, and it actually changed the breast cancer cells into a more aggressive form of cancer. That's not good. And in fact, the work on trying to find medication for, right, the chemo, the stuff we're going to give to these people who have cancers, they actually are searching for ketone blocking drugs. So why is everybody trying to put themselves into ketosis if it creates cancer? Really good question, isn't it? Meta-analysis are a big computer analysis of every study done and all over the world, that the high saturated fat diet of America, you see higher rates of death from cancer. This was specifically breast cancer, but you can extend it out. Other cancers will see the same ones. These numbers, by the way, the 4140, 4147 there. So the book that I was reading, and if you're interested, it's How Not to Diet. So this gentleman, Dr. McGregor, is that his name? I don't know why I'm spacing right now. Anyway, he came out with a second book. The first book was How Not to Die. Second book is How Not to Diet. And I always look at the back. There's no references. He has a barcode and you scan it and it takes you to his website. He has, I think it was like over 6,000 or 8,000 references in this book. And it takes you to the reference and you can read the article for yourself. It's a phenomenal book. I've only read like 20, 30 pages because it's so dense. I would like read a page and just be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing stuff. Anyway, when we look at the American Cancer Society or American Society of Clinical Oncology, breast cancer survivors care guidelines, they want you to eat whole food, plant-based, legumes, we'll talk about in a moment, low saturated fat. The opposite of what the media is telling you out there, huh? All right. Another reason protein is an issue. Get rid of all the nitrogen from the amino acids. Your kidneys do that. If you've never seen a diseased kidney, not pretty. What heals your kidney is plant-based. Also feeds your microbiome, your bacteria in your gut. It's a whole nother, we could just like have a whole class on that. Oh, and then I had students who go, oh, I'm vegetarian. I just eat chicken. Chicken's fine, right? 1896, USDA found chicken was 23% protein and less than 2% fat. That is phenomenal. That's like an elk. That's like the wild game. And then we bred for a century the chicken. And guess what? Yeah, Chicken Little is horrified. That is not a typo. That is 1,000% more fat. Chicken Little is no more. 70% of calories in chicken are now fat. And question Janae had for me last term or in 221 was about TMAO, which is the trimethylamino oxidase, which is one of the best indicators of heart disease. Highest levels are chicken, higher than hot dogs. It is because of the barbecuing when you combine the sugar with the chicken. Yeah, 16,000. And if you go down to the bottom, an apple, 10. Right. All right. It's chicken. Yeah. All right. Your guidelines from your government say it's okay to have 25% junk food. Who the heck? Oh, maybe they're getting a lot of money from somebody. Do you think? That is the standard American diet. If you've never seen, that's the acronym for it. SAD means chronic systemic metabolic acidosis. 51% processed, 42% animal products. My understanding is that number of 7% is actually smaller now. It's more like 4 to 5%. Only reason it might be 7% is, sorry. Oh, see all that? There's some tomatoes on the pizza and there's some ketchup with lots of high fructose corn syrup. That counts as vegetables. All right, so signs of acidosis. None of them are good. This is Joey 5 years ago. He's a little chubby there. And don't eat like that. You want to eat the whole, yeah, like this cute little doggy. Eat your broccoli. We have a dog who stays with us now. So your lab, we got to it finally, has 3 parts. 1 part. Sometime in the next 7 days, you have to watch one of these documentaries. They are all free on YouTube. If you have Netflix, great. I have seen 4 of them. Highly recommend all of them. Forks Over Knives is T. Colin Campbell about his studies that I talked about with the China study. The Game Changers, I recommend. I have not seen it. Carlos and Ryan, I was thinking about you. And all of you, it is about elite athletes who have switched, and it follows them. And I hear it's phenomenal. It's just, I have not had the time. All the sugar ones I've watched. So if you've seen one of them, like Isaac, I know you've seen 2 of these. Pick one you haven't seen, and then you write about it. What you learned. I don't need a summary of the documentary. I know what the documentary is about. You can write one sentence saying, oh my gosh, what you learned, what struck you, 3 things in it that you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this. Whoa, this is fascinating. There is a page that is posted that has this on there. All right, second part of the lab, 7-day challenge. You're either giving up ultra processed sugar, whole fruit is fine, but no juice. So processed food, including processed sugar for 7 days, or, this is Rocky, my cat, he's given up sugar. He, of course, does not eat sugar. He does not eat processed food. He eats whole food. He came to us with serious skin issues and neurological issues, and we had to put him on a whole diet. That's him eating an avocado. That's why his nose is green. Yes, my cat eats an avocado, and you can see how he is positioned. He goes crazy. He also loves tofu. He does eat meat. Your other choice, because he is a cat, is you can go vegan for 7 days. I'm not asking for a lifetime. I'm saying for 7 days. You can do one or the other if you want. Oh, that's my doggy, Shanti. Shanti's saying, don't do it. Don't eat Toto tacos. We did eat there after we went to the Oz Museum, and they did have a vegan choices. If you want, you can try and do both. Be really fun. Go for it. Why not? I had a gal last term who did it for 30 days. She gave up processed food. She lost 4 inches off her waist. She was tiny to begin with. And I was like, oh my gosh. She said it changed her life. Anyway, and the third part of your lab is sometime in the next 7 days, you're going to go to the website. It's all in the handout. You're going to make a new meal, a new recipe. It could be granola. You can all make something there. Some people will do more elaborate. And this picture I was going to change, but that is Joey eating. I made that several years ago. I made one the other day, and I think it says Joey. It might have been his birthday pie one year. All right, the extra credit is back for those of you who've been with me, and those of you new to me, the 30-day challenge. So that's the 7-day. That is part of your 7 days. You write about how it went, what you did, why you did it. You can try and do both, because that way if you can't do one, you still have the other one back up. The 30-day challenge is for 30 days, you're adding something healthy to your diet. It's Joey, when we were in Nepal, saying go for it. So what they have found is if they have people add something to their diet, they just naturally give up the things that are not so healthy for them. So to be successful in the 7 days, why not do this? And do it for the whole 30 days. You're adding something. So these are your suggestions. Legumes. Legumes are, that's soy, lentils, peas, chickpeas, black beans, any kind of beans. They are a feast for your microbiota. They actually slow down sugar absorption for not just that meal, but the meal after, because they're so high in fiber. They are what your microbiome wants to eat. And your microbiome can change in like 2 days to the one that makes your immune system so healthy. All right, another choice, eat 3 pieces of fruit per day. That's Joey. We all do this. Absolutely. Fruit, high in fiber, and so the sugar is not absorbed as fast. It is also a second meal type of effect. And that is my doggy Shanti. We eat a salad every day. We actually do a smoothie every day. That's from my garden, the chard. And my dog is small. So, and that's me looking down at her. My chard is huge. We can try eating the rainbow every day. Really have fun with it. Had somebody who did the 3 pieces of fruit last term for 30 days, and she took a picture each day of the piece of fruit. So since it's a digital paper you'll turn into me, I will ask that you email me, or you can put it in your paper for the lab and say, I'm doing a 30-day challenge, Dr. Sherpa. I'm doing the rainbow every day for 30 days. And so I know that you're doing this challenge. 30 days is how long our class is. So you got to start now. And 30 days, transform your life. You're going to be all so healthy and vibrant, and you're going to change. Yeah, you'll write what you did, how it went. Several of you have done this, and so you're excited to keep doing it. Do a new dimension, something you haven't done. If you have a different idea, email me and let me know. But I'm adding a dimension to this. It's the daily double for bonus points. So yeah, you got to do it now. You can't decide at the end of the term saying, I need like 10 points, Dr. Sherpa. I need 5 points. Got to do it now. The daily double is going to be really hard to get the full 10 points. So it is a 5-point extra credit. The daily double is to get a loved one to do it with you. Some of you, this will be easier than others. Yeah, and just writes me how it went. The 7-day challenge, it's easy to get a loved one, but for 30 days, good luck with that. All right. Yeah, and let's keep it real. Keep it real for this term. And this is the other thing you could try. G-bombs, greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, seeds. Put in there. Some of you had me last term, tried this. It's really tough. Every day you're doing all of these, all 6. You're eating greens every day. You're eating beans every day. You're eating onions or garlic or something in that allium family, mushrooms, berries, seeds. We actually do this. Some days I miss the mushrooms, so I'm not perfect. I had somebody last term who did this, and it was really, really cool to see. All right. Many blessings, and I'm so excited to meet you all, and good luck with this.